Hello, yarn besties. My name is Michael and I am the Crafty Crocheter. So if you're new to the channel or watching this video, my videos for the first time, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I hope that you like what you see, and if so, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you'll get more content delivered to you. And if you are a loyal subscriber and or returning viewer, thank you for coming back, as I always appreciate your patronage and your love and support. So I thought this was a long overdue video, and I'm referring to, well, I saw another creator who was struggling transitioning from crochet to knitting. So my video is going to be called The Crocheter's Guide to Knitting. And the reason I call it that is because in this video I'm going to share with you my personal adventure, how I successfully transitioned from crocheting into knitting. Because again, as I mentioned in one of my other videos, that crocheting and knitting are two different worlds in regards to tools and how to work the stitches and so forth. So I thought I would go into that. So that way, if any of you out there who are crocheters are wanting to get into knitting, then I can share with you my personal experiences and how I overcame the hurdles and obstacles when I got back into knitting. Let's do the backstory, shall we? So I started crocheting when I was 14. And my grandmother taught me the basic chain stitch because I believe that's all she knew how to do. So after I mastered the chain stitch, everything else crochet related, like all the stitches and techniques and tricks, I learned on my own through magazines, YouTube. And then around that same time, I got into knitting as well. So I got some old metal knitting needles and some yarn, and I just started following another booklet, another magazine, or another instructional booklet that I bought at the store. And I just learned the basic knit stitches, purl stitches. And my crowning achievement was learning how to do cabling. So I kind of want to get back into that again. So that is my personal adventure. So of my humble beginnings. Let's fast forward to recently, to when I got back into knitting almost full time. Got a couple books and I saw some videos online. I saw a couple other creators knitting as well. So I thought I would get back into that again. Through books and YouTube, I learned how to master the basic stitches, knitting and purling, and then the one book I'm reading from right now is the Learn to Knit in 50 Squares, which really is a good book to learn from because each square focuses on a new stitch or technique. All right, so let's transition to now. So anyway, so I'm going to go over the different tools and the techniques and for both crocheting and knitting, so that way I can. And then and the different knitting styles as well. So let's go start with crocheting first, like some of the different tools related to crochet. Now, as you may all know, I started crochet with a simple aluminum hook, the standard traditional tapered crochet hook. Now, I don't use these anymore because, again, I get a lot of hand fatigue from this, but I started out using these. So if you want to start out, I would suggest getting one of these, especially if you have smaller hands. But if you're looking for comfort, I would recommend going with an ergonomic crochet hook. And again, I love using these. I could crochet all day with this and not get hand fatigue. So I'm going to go over the different styles now. So again, there's the standard aluminum, and then this is the ergonomic tapered crochet hook. It's got the neck and then the hook part, and then the handle and the thumb rest right here. And then they also make some other ones also in bamboo. Now this is an incline style crochet hook because of the little point at the top. But I use these ones more than I do incline when it comes to standard crocheting. But when it comes to Tunisian crocheting, I use the incline Tunisian crochet hooks. And then they also have crochet hooks in plastic. Now this little plastic number was from a crochet kit I got from Hobby Lobby. So and they say they recommend they use this, but again, this is kind of tiny, so I got rather large hands. So if you got smaller hands, or if these are the kind that you're used to using, then use these. It's just your own preference and personal style of what crochet hook you want to use and what your comfort level is going to be, especially if you're crocheting for a while. But I still take breaks every now and again because sometimes when you're crocheting for so long, your eyes get all like blur. Like it's kind of like, not saying your vision will get blurry, but it's kind of like you need just to rest your brain so you're not feeling all out of sorts. Now I'm going to talk about some other tools too now for crocheting, because these also relate to knitting, but different styles. So you may have seen these. These are excellent. These are stitch markers. I use these for crochet, and these particular ones are different from knitting, and I'll show you those in a moment. But for the crochet ones, this is just a standard little plastic stitch marker. Then once you loop it in, then there's like a little clip on the back. You just clip like that underneath that little lip there, and it'll keep your stitch marker in place. Again, these are lifesavers too, especially if you're working on a big project, or if you're working in around for amigurumi work, so you know where the beginning of your round is. And then let's see, I think that's, and then yarn's always going to be the same for both crochet and knitting, no matter what. So, but you see a lot of knitters using like lighter weight yarns, but for usually crochet, I like to use number 4 weighted yarn, and this is just Premier Basics yarn. It's just an example. This is a number 4 worsted weighted yarn. It's all right. And so as far as crochet goes, there are 2 grips that you can use for your crochet hook, and I use the knife method, which is you're holding it like a knife, because I'll go like that real quickly. But another style that people use a lot of is the pencil method. You just hold it like a pencil, then you see people just whip through the stitches. It just depends on what style you want to use. I personally like the knife grip. It's all the ones I've always used, so I've never really used the pencil style, but I've seen a lot of people use the pencil style. Again, it's just your personal preference of what you want to use. All right, so I think that concludes for knitting. I mean, for crochet. So now we're going to move on to the knitting portion of this video. Now, there's a lot more tools that I'm going to show off than I did for knitting. I keep saying it, for crochet. So there's a lot more tools I'm going to show off here for knitting than I did for crochet. Now, of course, you can't work any particular knitting project without knitting needles. Now, these come in all variety of sizes. These are a size 15, US 15, and they'll say them either on the end piece, or sometimes they'll have it marked on the side. And they come in usually in aluminum, like these pair. And then I also have a pair of bamboo. And then some of them will come in plastic. Again, it just depends on your personal preference as far as if the yarn sticks to the needles when they slide on there. Same with the crochet hooks too. So it just depends on what style you want to use. So far I use aluminum a lot, and I'm learning to use the bamboo. So I may use these for another project. But they do come in, and then also they come in straight needles, and there's also cabled needles like these ones here. I prefer the steel cable ones because again, if you opt for the plastic, sometimes the plastic will curl up and curl around, and then you have to loosen them up. But with the metal, with the steel cable, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that ever twisting. And then these are just these are size 11, 16-inch circular needles. Of course, you can use these type of needles, or if you get a kit like this one, to where you have the different sizes. And I'm using a couple of them for different projects, so that's why you see a couple missing. But you see like the different needle sizes, and then up in this compartment you see, and I'll pull these out, for cabling that you use to attach to the end of your needles. And I'm just going to pick a cable real quick. I'll pick a long one. All right, so just for example, say you're going to swap needle sizes. Let's just swap to these ones here. So you just basically take them, and then you would just screw them on to the side, make sure they're on there. Then you'll do the same thing for the other side. And then you just attach the needles to the cable. Again, the length of the cable depends on the size of the project you're working on. Like for that knitted shawl, I had to increase the length of the cable, because in the beginning it said it was like from tip to tip it's supposed to be like 40 inches. So when they mention about the size of the needle, they are including from the tip of the first needle to the tip of the other one. So when you lay it, stretch it out like that, I don't know how well you can see that, from tip to tip, that's the length they're referring to. It's not the length of the cable itself, it's the length of the cable plus the size of the needles. And then some kits will come with these little stoppers for in case you want to save your work. You can unscrew the one side and screw this onto the one side you want to keep the work on. And then they got these little extenders, and then these little cotter pin type things where you can twirl them around so they're in there securely. They have things called DPNs, or double pointed needles, and I'll pull one out. These are size 8s. This is a DPN, or double pointed knit needle, for both side to side, and these are usually used for circular projects, or like in the case of the Ross hat, if you transition to closing off the top of the hat, then you use DPNs versus just doing the magic loop. But some people like to use the magic loop. I have never used that. I've used the method that Ross uses for the Ross hat, and that turned out pretty well for me. But again, these come in different sizes, so my recommendation would be, if you're going to use either straight needles or circular needles, and you need to have DPNs, try to get the DPNs the same size as the needle that you're using. Common sense, I know, but just thought I'd let you know. And then they also have, for cabling, and as I mentioned in my previous yarn haul, they have this particular style here. Then they have these plastic ones here, which you can use for, these ones you can use for Tunisian crochet, because I know there are some different stitches to where you can do cabling, or you can use for knitting, or you can use these particular hook style ones for cabling. And then for stitch markers, again, I mentioned it during the crochet portion of it that they have a similar thing, but these are stitch markers for knitting needles. And what makes them different from crochet ones are that they are a circular hoop. So that way you can just loop it over in front of the stitch where you need to mark it off. You just loop it like that. And they come in different sizes. Like I say, you can just use that one and slip it in front of where it says to place the marker. You place it in front of the stitch where it says to place the marker. You can just slide it like that. And then whenever you are where it says to move the marker, that you just knit. And then when you get to the marker, you just insert it like this and move it to the other side. Makes it easier. And they also have ones that are clips. And I actually bought some, but I've tried using them for the one project and I was having issues with them. So I decided I'm going to use my loop one, these ones, because I like using these ones. And then next is the knitting style itself. Now, you may have heard these two terms when it comes to knitting styles. You may have heard of English style and continental style. Now, for English style, which I don't use, English style, I mean, you can use whatever style you want, but for the sake of crocheting, I'm going to tell you which one I use. So for English style, basically the yarn, your working yarn is on the right side. So say you're working your project and you got the yarn coming in on the right side. That is English style. Now, the one I use is continental style. And the reason I use continental style is because it makes a great transition platform for those crocheters wanting to knit. Because the reason for that I use continental style is because the yarn is on the left side, which I'm so used to doing when I'm crocheting. And so whenever I knit, I use continental style. So I have my yarn on the left side, which it just makes it easier for crocheters when they get into knitting. So they're not having to worry about having the yarn on the one side, which may feel awkward to them or to you if you are wanting to transition into knitting. So, I mean, feel free to explore both styles. I mean, it's up to you, but I personally like to use the continental style for the reasons I mentioned earlier, that the yarn's on the left side. It's easier for me to have the yarn on my hand when I'm working. And then the stitches for crochet and knitting are different too. Like for example, for crochet, you got your single crochet, you got your half double, double, treble, slip stitches. And for knitting, you only have basically two. You have your knit stitch and your purl stitch. Everything else, like say for like slip slip knit or slip slip purl, you're just using purl and knit stitches in those stitches. I mean, you're not using anything special. Or want to yarn over, and yarning over is basically almost the same thing in crochet and knitting. So for let's see, for crochet, when you send the yarn over, you're just pulling the yarn over the hook. And same for knitting, when you're says to yarn over. There are different yarn over styles. I like to yarn over from back to front in front of me. But when I'm doing the purl in the back loop, purl in the back loop, I will do it from the other way, like to have it from back to front. All right, so I hope I haven't confused y'all. I know I was running off on a tangent a little bit about certain things, but key takeaways from this video would be basically, if you're gonna transition from crochet to knit, I would read first. I would watch videos on YouTube or Instagram or any other social media platform, so you can get the basis of it, so you can see what's being done, instead of trying to just like, oh, I'm going to read from the book and just do it myself and possibly mess up your work. But it takes practice, and I have a bunch of knitting videos out there too where I go over all this stuff. So feel free to click through my playlist is my knitting 101 and my knitting adventure playlists. So if you want to hit those and check out those videos, feel free to, so that way you can get a better sense of what I'm talking about. I hope this video helps everyone out as far as about how to successfully transition from crochet to knit. Again, it's just your own personal style. It takes time to develop your style too, because it took me a while to get the knit stitch down. It took me a while to get the purl stitch down. It took me a while to learn all these different techniques down, especially when I'm reading from the 50 Squares book that I'm working from for the project that I'm working on. So that's about it, guys. So I hope everyone's days go well today. So don't forget to grab your crochet hooks or your knit needles. Grab that yarn and create something beautiful today. Spread love and not hate. Be there for one another. Help each other out. Be kind to one another. Love each other. Pay it forward if possible. Love yourself and stay true to yourself. Stay on your true path. And don't let anyone deter you from that. And stay on top of your mental health, because good mental health is very important. And on that note, take care of yourselves and each other.